This is a cinematic editor, which uses a camera to allow me to make our Minecraft scene more cinematic. Because over the past few years, I've been using an animation software called Minemator to make all these Minecraft animations. And after 3 years of making them, I want to try something new. So here's what I'm gonna do. With the release of Minecraft Editor and the camera command, which allows you to change your camera perspective, I want to make a cutscene editor so you can make a cinematic scene, just like the replay mod Java Edition. The first thing I want to do is to create a plugin. This allows me to add stuff into the editor window. After that, I have to design what I have to add to the window. So, using the Minecraft Editor API, you can only add these elements into Minecraft. A block picker, a dropdown, a text field for typing integers, a checklist, a vector-free component, which is basically just 3 boxes for numbers, a button which makes an incredibly satisfying sound when you press it. I can do this all day, and a normal text field. So like any other UI designers, I open up Paint. Let's make a rectangle that acts as a window, and then we make a vector-free component that shows the player coordinate and rotation, so that we can use those numbers to store them into a keyframe, so we can execute it in the timeline. After that, we add a section where we have the drop down for showing store keyframes, and a button which creates and deletes the frame. And finally, we add the button which will allow me to run the scene based on the keyframes. And whenever anyone tries to write scripts, all we do is face errors that, not this kind of error, this error. This error alert is triggered by Minecraft's UI engine or UI. The actual error text is hidden because we're not supposed to see this screen. It doesn't make sense to me, except the developers. So I did what anyone would do, is to ask a Mojang developer to help me out. And this is the reply I got. To simplify his message, you cannot have 0 items in the block picker element. If you make it empty, the whole UI just crashes. However, you can do that with the drop-down element. Why is this so inconsistent? Listen, I was working at this at 2 AM, and I wasn't having it. Next, we made it so players can just adjust the ease of a keyframe. So the camera can move from one place to another with different motions using easing, which each allow us to make a transition more natural. For example, compare this first scene with a linear motion and a second scene which has a inner sign ease. It is so much better in some cases. What's not better is coding this feature into the game. I was facing a problem again, but this time with the drop-down element not showing the correct ease type. Look, I don't know what to tell you. This is some content you don't see in other videos, so you gotta subscribe, yep. When the create keyframe button is clicked, the script gets all the data needed to generate a path for camera's motion, so the scene will transit from one frame to another at a given time. So that's how you make a basic cinematic editor, but there's just one tiny thing I have not said. There are way too many bugs. Specifically, modifying an existing keyframe. When I was using this plugin to make my portrait of a blank state video, an issue arises is that when you create a keyframe, the keyframe data is stored into world storage known as dynamic properties, but you can't modify it after the keyframe is created, which causes an issue that when you try to modify the keyframe, you have to delete the keyframe, readjust the position and the easing configuration, then create a keyframe again. Oh, did I also tell you that this is made between the time when Mojang decided to change the whole storage API. Basically means my code doesn't work anymore. It's so annoying, in fact, I almost abandoned this project entirely. Until I managed to fix my storage system. How? Originally, I was gonna make a virtual file system using dynamic properties. However, making a fully virtual file system like Windows is way too complicated. Instead, we choose to use this method, the table method. I don't know why I name it like that. Since dynamic properties is a key value database, I want to store each keyframe data into a separate column to achieve the ability to store infinite keyframes. To do that, we need a key that maps all the keys that includes the keyframe data, so we can sort the keys by which one comes first and which one comes last. I also managed to address one important issue, the ease time. Now, remember when I said that there's a text field for typing integers? Well, there isn't one for floating numbers, and I realized I needed that for that video. So, do we have any solutions? Yes, we have a solutions, and it's not that complicated. This is achieved by getting the input using the text field, then check if the content is valid number, and if so, the number is safe. But otherwise, the program will just reject it and will further changes. This can probably help the creators to make an instant transition for a scene. So, this is how I managed to change existing keyframes, and hopefully, its autosave features allows creators can easily create a scene using this extension, or just experiment the camera feature more quickly. Let's be honest, I don't want to type the command shown in the video. It's way too long. That's the whole reason I made this mod. And finally, to finish this off, we're going to give this extension a nice logo instead of this white blank image. Now, I'm not a pixel artist despite being a Minecraft animator for years, but one thing I know that's gonna help me completing this project. First, you download the game Minecraft, then you go to the data folder, then the texture folder, then the UI folder, search camera-yo.png, and then copy and paste the image to the resource pack. Then the editor should load the extension. Why is my extension not in there? Oh, I forgot to update the pack. 1 second. Let's do this again, and oh hey, a new icon. Video's done now. How do I stop this thing?